Thank you for clicking my video. If you did click this video, you're a new Postmates driver, you're new to the Fleet app, and you basically want to hit the road, not run into any issues, and just maximize your earning potential and not be taken advantage of right off the bat. Let's get started.
Yeah.
Definitely, if it's your first time, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and definitely comment below if I missed any good tips that you'd like to pass on to drivers, and let's keep it positive. So a couple of prerequisites. We're assuming that you've already onboarded, you're already ready to go online and start doing orders. You may have already done one or two, but you might just seem a little bit lost, and I kind of want to share a few tips that I've learned with almost 5,000 deliveries that I wish somebody would have told me when I first started. First off, I always say it, get a really good thermal bag, get a really large one. Sam's Club and Costco have beach style thermal bags. They're like $7. I say get 2 or 3 of them. I usually keep 3 in a car at a typical time, and I get different colors so that I can color coordinate multiple batch orders. So if you get an order for Joe and if you get an order for Suzanne, I'll say Suzanne is in the gray bag and Joe is in the blue bag, and that's how I differentiate, and I make it very easy on myself. You're also going to be doing a lot of driving, so convenience and comfort and safety should be a high priority of yours. Definitely get a phone mount, preferably one that goes in front of the vent, because on hot days when you're charging your phone will overheat and it'll start slowing down. So having a vent clip I found is very good because it just keeps the phone cool all day long. A fast charger for your car is also a good thing, although if it just cable charges, that's totally fine as well. Just keep it plugged in more often than not. A couple apps you're going to want to have on your phone are going to be a couple of different navigation driving apps. I use Google Maps and Waze. I find that Google Maps sometimes fails me and Waze doesn't, and Waze sometimes fails me and Google Maps doesn't, so it's good to have 2 just already on. Another good app to have is the Postmates food ordering app, and the reason for this is it's actually going to show restaurants in your area that are being looked at right now. Another good app to have is Yelp. Yelp's really good to see what restaurants are on the map around you, so if you cross-reference to the Postmates food ordering app and you see that there's several restaurants in the party mode and a lot of people are looking at them, if you go on Yelp and you see those 3 restaurants are all in the same parking lot, it only makes sense to drive to that parking lot. Dress for success. Now this is true with any job. The one thing I couldn't stand is when I started ordering Postmates for myself, drivers would come and they looked actually very dirty and dingy, and I started thinking, well, are they actually like sanitizing their hands? Are they being, cleanly? Are they being sanitary with my food? And all of a sudden, all kinds of doubts come into my mind. So shower, shave if it's applicable. Make sure that you're wearing nice, clean pressed clothes. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but for me, like I'll go out just in a shirt that's not stained, that looks respectable, some jeans or some nice shorts, some nice walking shoes. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just don't go out in sleepwear. You're going to come across some scams, and this is going to happen. The scams do happen, and they kind of vary in what type of scam they are. So just know this as a new Postmates driver, Postmates Fleet is never going to ask for your login information or your password or any of your personal information. In fact, I've contacted Postmates live support many times, and the only thing they ever asked me to do is verify my login email. So the way the scam works is, and I have a whole video about it, I'm actually going to put it below, and I urge you to go watch it for more detail. You're going to get a very small order. And just because you get a small order, don't assume it's a scam until the scam happens. But the small order is typically like a $1 item from 7-Eleven or a $1 item from Carl's Jr. or McDonald's. The cheapest thing on the menu, a small French fry, a small Slurpee, something like that. You'll start driving to the location, you'll get a phone call from the blocked number where it'll say it's from like Kansas or somewhere else in the US, not where you are. And you answer it, and they start saying they're with Postmates and that you have to give them all your login information. As soon as you do that, they cash you out of your app and they log you out, and they basically say cancel due to personal emergency. And that's what happened to me one time. And I had no money in my account, thankfully, and that's what urged me to make this whole channel and start this whole video of making drivers aware. The scam is very serious, and it takes your hard-earned money away. Don't ever give your password or login information away. Protect it like it's your bank account, because it is. Next point, don't use Postmates Fleet as a bank account. Contradicting myself, I know. I like to cash out once I reach $100 to $125. That's a good spot for me to cash out at. I feel like spending 50 cents to get 125 bucks is fair. But don't let your Fleet account build and build and build. I've literally seen screenshots where people are holding $1,500 in their Fleet account, and what happens if something happens to that money? It's not insured. Postmates will not reimburse you. Just get it in your bank, because at least if it's in your bank, it's safe and it's secure. Now there's a couple of scams, but I think a good way to sum up how not to get scammed, because I want to make a whole video about all the scams there are and that I found, but a good way to not get scammed is, and this was from Postmates Fleet Support, Live Support, this is what they directly told me. So if a customer ever wants you to go to a different location, let's say you get there and they go, oh, the Fleet app, it's all your fault, I put the right address in or whatever, you're at the right spot. So you don't need to go any farther. That's where you're going to deliver to. If the customer wants to make any changes, you have to be made aware. Don't call them and get the changes, text them and get the changes. That creates a record for Postmates to track. Phone calls are a lot harder. So if a customer changes their address or their order over the phone, it's really hard for Postmates to verify that you did the right thing if it's not through a text. So if a customer ever calls you and says, I want you to change my order over the phone, or I want you to go to a different address, you're going to need to say, hey, can you send that to me via text? Because then if you do go to the other spot, or if you do change the order, it's called CYB, you cover your rear end. Always get it through text. I've even had the customer call the restaurant and try to force them to change the order while I was there, and it was like a Taco Bell order, and I literally canceled the order because I said I don't trust this. I've also had the short distance scam where they basically say, you know, hey, drive 10 miles, I'll tip you large. I wouldn't do it. Always check IDs for anything that needs ID checked. Even if the app doesn't ask you to, if you're delivering cigarettes or alcohol, you have to check their ID. Just give it a physical check. Most of the time it's going to say you need to scan the ID. But if for whatever reason they didn't catch the alcohol or whatever, you need to check the ID. And not only that, it should be the ID of the person that ordered the food. So if Joe Bob ordered the food, but Joanne comes out with the ID, you really are supposed to get Joe Bob's ID, because apparently California especially is cracking down on underage alcohol sales, and a lot of these gig apps are kind of scared because I think they're breaking a lot of rules. So cover your own rear and make sure you always check that ID and scan it. If it's a driver's license, scan the back after you check it. If it's a passport, scan the front. Easy peasy. A big thing I hear is a lot of drivers go around and they just kind of deliver the food and they go, why didn't I get a tip? And a big reason for that is your personal attitude. And a lot of you may say, well, I've got great attitudes and I don't get tips. Well, that's totally understandable. Guess what? Not everyone's a tipper, and you can't expect them to be. That's just not how it is. However, if you can follow the instructions that they put in the app, always double check it before you arrive and make sure that you're following all their instructions specifically. And if you can come up with a positive attitude, just a positive attitude, hey, and here's my go-to, hey, Paul from Postmates. And then like once they get it, I'll be like, enjoy your feast. Something simple like that. And then leave. Don't hang around, don't linger. Have a great day, boss. See you later, and then walk away. I have also had a big thing that I do is if it's someone that's maybe handicapped or has dogs, or if their screen door swings out, or if whatever it may be, always be considerate of their situation. So say, you know, like the dogs are screaming or whatever, be like, hey, I hear the dogs, do you want me to leave it out here? Or, you know, put it away from the swinging door out. Or if there's bread in the order, put the bread on the top, like it's so fragile. Just be considerate of their needs. Pretend like you're delivering for your mother. And how would you want you or your grandma, or whatever you want it to be, how would you want them to be delivered to? Would you want them to be delivered to like they're the most important person in the world? That's how you get the large tips. And it's something that I can't teach. It's a soft skill, and soft skills aren't taught. I have literally had people come up to my door to deliver food, and they're like, walk out, like about face and walk out. I'm like, thanks. And they're like, $2 tip, because I felt like I had to, because I do Postmates. But the reality is had that guy come up and just been like, all right, bud, I got your feast, here we go. Hey man, really nice garden here, I like this. All right, well, I'll see you later. Hey puppers, bye. I guarantee I would have just been like, dude, just off the bat, I'm like $7. That guy's cool, I hope I get him again. I've had people that I come to and re-deliver to, and they tell me, I wish that I can just choose to have you deliver to me. I said, that'd be awesome, because then I can ensure my future deliveries, but there'd be no way I'd be able to keep up with the demand, unfortunately. So being kind, being considerate, that's an absolute must for large tips. Don't be afraid to communicate with the customer. The customer doesn't want to be bothered by you a million times. That's like legit fact. However, let's say you get somewhere and it's like a fancy plate. Maybe you're not used to it. Maybe they like are getting a bunch of like Mexican food or something, and they go, do you want red salsa, green salsa, chunky salsa, habanero salsa, spicy salsa? Do you want guacamole salsa? Do you want green salsa? Just take that moment and literally, like, I have done this so many times. I do voice to text and I say, can you hold on one second? And I say that I activate it and I say, hey, this is Paul, your Postmates driver. It looks like they have a couple of different sauce choices, and I'll try to remember to list them all off. Back when we used to have salsa bars, I used to take a picture of it and send it and say which one you want, how many. That actually got me a lot of tips. But now that's not really a thing right now in 2020. They've kind of tore those bars down. So those serving bars. So by relaying this text, even something as simple as hot sauce at Taco Bell or anything like that, the customer feels included and they become happy. I've actually had situations where I couldn't get a hold of the customer. The order is going to be wrong. I know it's going to be wrong. And when I get there, I say, hey, we tried to call you. I'm so sorry. They didn't have this. The restaurant was trying to make it right. You know, we did everything we could. And here you go. Let Postmates know I'm so sorry. And I still get tips on those. It's just being considerate. It's being kind. And if you come up, nice clothes, kind, it's hard not to tip. And especially if you communicated with me like, hey, just so you know, I have to wait 45 minutes. It's a long wait. Or, hey, they don't have the BLT, but the nearest one they have is they have a turkey bacon BLT. Would you like that? Just try to be always considerate of people. I think another important tip that you really need to know is going into apartments, you're going to be intimidated the first couple of times because they're very large complexes. The best thing I can offer you the best thing I can say is this advice, and this is what's gotten me through every apartment delivery except for maybe one or two. Do your best to get in through the gate if it's gated. If it is a locked gate and there's a keypad, try to text the customer and say, hey, do you have a keypad? And start the timer right then and there, because you can't technically get in. They didn't provide you any information. The timer starts going. Wait, hang out, see if someone in that 5-minute window time goes through the drive, goes through the gate. If they give you a gate code, cool, get in. If someone goes in, cool, go in. Look for the leasing office map. Almost every apartment complex has a map, and it's either right at the entrance of the gate, of the main entrance, or it's by the leasing office. So if I go in and I don't see the map by the main gate, I immediately head straight for the leasing office. And the leasing office is usually right inside the gate anyway. And I'll look there, and there's usually even a sticker that says you are here, like you're at Disneyland or the mall or something. And you'll just say, okay, I'm here. Okay, he's here. Left, right, left, there he is. And then you're there. But before I learned this trick, and I know you think it's simple, before I learned this trick, I spent so much time like just circling parking lots. Like, is that building 4? Is that apartment 126? Oh, I can't even see the numbers. And so like I finally broke down, and I just make that part of my routine every time now. I hope these tips helped. I hope that when you get out there, you can feel a little bit more confident in knowing what's going on. Definitely get out there, hit that road, go for gold. I want to see big tips. I want to hear comments below about how this improved your game, or like I said earlier, comments about other ways that new drivers can increase their awareness, their earning potential, just some great new tips that are positive for new drivers. If you like the content and you definitely want to grow and be more successful as a gig worker, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit that like button. This is all shameless self-promotion. I also have a new merch store on Teespring. It's the Driven by Hunger line, and it's the first ever delivery food branding clothing company designed with the delivery driver in mind. So it's literally meant to show the customers that you do this job for a living. The link is in the description below if you want to check out some of that merch. And also don't forget, I've partnered with Cover. They're a financial safety net for gig workers with a monthly subscription base just starting at $7 a month. However, since I partner with them, you can also use my link below, right down there, and you can start your first month for free. So if anything bad happens, that you have to go to the hospital or your car has to go into the shop, you can get paid up to 80% of your lost wages for up to 15 days. And so that's really awesome. So that's just a free little gift I'm giving you guys. Want to financially one-time support me? I have my Venmo information in the description below. I know it's the most shameless of self-promotion because you guys really don't get anything out of it, but however, anything helps, $1, anything. Times have been kind of tough lately, and working 3 jobs is getting tiring, and I want to put more work into making these videos and making them great, making them something special and something you guys want to watch. So definitely stick around, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.